There is no Illuminati. It's just a joke. It's just something that crazy people talk about. There's no such thing as our side and God's side.
I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them.
They called Jim Carrey crazy when he mocked the Illuminati. They dismissed Katt Williams as a conspiracy theorist when he exposed industry secrets. But here's what nobody wants you to understand. These weren't breakdowns, they were breakthroughs. When Katt Williams tested Hollywood by saying the Illuminati wasn't real, industry insiders stayed silent, not because he was wrong, but because they assumed he'd eventually play along. When Jim Carrey expressed disgust at Hollywood's spineless standing ovation for Will Smith, he wasn't being dramatic. He was documenting systematic moral bankruptcy. When Williams called out Big D deviants, he wasn't speaking in code. He was naming names. Now America's most trusted philanthropist faces her worst nightmare. Multiple credible witnesses independently exposing the same systematic control mechanisms. Oprah's terror isn't about individual secrets. It's about the complete destruction of the carefully constructed image that allowed her to operate as a systematic exploiter while being celebrated as a moral authority. Tonight, discover why the woman who built her empire on other people's trauma is absolutely terrified of comedians who refuse to stay quiet. Look, Hollywood operates on a deal that nobody talks about publicly. There's no paperwork, no signed contracts, just an understanding that everyone pretends doesn't exist. And Mel Gibson just broke it wide open.
Somebody once said my problem was I didn't understand the social contract. Yeah, I now understand what that means.
Yeah.
Do you understand it?
The social contract?
Yes.
I think I do.
Yeah. What is it for you?
The social contract. You can't get mad.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get mad. You can't let it get you, because you have to make a deal with everyone else, and it's almost unspoken that you are going to be over at some point by people who you may have done something nice for.
Mm.
And it may happen that by circumstance, or even very purposefully, that you someone over. But that shouldn't get in the way of you being able to sit down and have fun with them. Am I on the right track?
Absolutely.
You can't build a resentment about it.
Mm.
You have to still try and love those people.
Yeah.
Because that's the way they're thinking.
Because it ain't personal.
No, it's not personal. They don't really mean to hurt you.
No.
Not really. I don't quite understand. Well, I mean, there's a lot of motivations for why it happens. Yes, many.
I mean, money will make you do stuff as well, won't it? I mean,
Yes.
one, them, us,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, well, whoever.
If there's many millions riding on a decision, it's hard to be philosophical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very hard. Very hard to be, you you have to choose what level of integrity you're coming in at. And
Okay.
And I've often felt it. I've sat there and I have felt the knife slipped firmly in between my shoulder blades and tried to have it shoved through the other side through my heart. And I've actually felt the whole thing and I've gone, ah! Wait till next week, or I'll think, and you'll resent it for a little while, then you have to let it go. Otherwise, you'll eat yourself alive.
Hollywood has this unspoken rule where you get mistreated by the people running the show, but you can't get mad about it. You can't complain. You can't speak up. You can't even acknowledge it's happening. That's the price of admission. Think about it. Gibson himself is living proof of what happens when you break this deal. The man was on top of the world. Then he started talking about industry corruption, and suddenly he became persona non grata. But here's the thing. He survived outside the system, which proves you don't actually need their approval to make great work.
I'm saying that everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend that seems like a setup is.
Everything that happens in a business, that's based off of pretend, that seems like a setup is.
Yes. What I'm saying is, if Jussie Smollett and Lee Daniels for a living
make stories that are not real, and they make them so good that people believe them and buy them, and that's what business they're in. Why would you think it would be weird if they flipped out and said a story that turned out to not be true?
Why? Why would we think that if they are capable of doing that for a living?
That's what they do for a living. They do that 300 episodes. Is take something fictitious and make it seem real. That's the business. What I'm saying is, in business, nothing is coincidental, or you would be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up. So they killed this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Wow.
And they had some people from your city do it.
Now, Katt Williams drops another bomb. Nothing in this industry happens by accident. Every scandal you see, every celebrity death, every breakdown, it's all planned out. These aren't random tragedies, they're business decisions. Look at the pattern. Michael Jackson died right before his comeback tour. His estate makes more money in 10 years after his death than he did in his final decade alive. Prince mysteriously ODs just as he's planning to release music independently. Catalog value explodes overnight. Whitney Houston drowned in a bathtub. Her greatest hits album became her best-selling release. Williams says they can eliminate people in such a way that they can reap benefits. That no longer feels like a conspiracy anymore. That's just cold, calculated business wrapped up in tragedy. Here's the genius part. Everyone in Hollywood sees this pattern, but nobody talks about it because they all signed the same invisible contract. Stay quiet about what you witness, or you might be next. It's psychological conditioning disguised as career management. Now here's where it gets really interesting. If you wanted to control people's minds on a massive scale, how would you do it? You'd need someone they trust completely. Someone who seems to care about their pain, who speaks their language, who feels like family. Enter Oprah Winfrey.
Why'd you walk away from $50 million?
I wasn't walking away from the money. I was walking away from the circumstances with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14. I've heard the stories, seen these kinds of things play out in front of me. I mean, you see it before. Look at Mariah Carey, made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time in their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah.
It's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress because, when you're a guy that generates money,
yeah,
people have a vested interest in controlling. To be an actor is a lonely life.
Watch this Dave Chappelle interview carefully. Here's a man explaining why he walked away from $50 million because he saw the trap coming. He's being completely rational, laying out how the industry tries to control artists. But notice what Oprah's doing. She keeps interrupting him, trying to paint him as unstable, suggesting there's something wrong with his mental state. This isn't an interview. This is psychological manipulation disguised as concern. Dave's trying to explain how the system works, and Oprah's literally demonstrating it in real time. She's gaslighting him on her own show, making him seem crazy for having boundaries and principles. Think about the timing here. Dave goes to Africa after rejecting the deal, and suddenly, everyone's calling him mentally ill. But listen to him speak. Does he sound crazy to you? Or does he sound like someone who saw through the game and refused to play?
I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. That's happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in a trailer, I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in, the writer comes in, I think he's the writer, he's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a and he put this dress on and what? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave, listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then like the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So then, wear the dress. I don't want to wear the dress. I want to wear this dress. You know what I mean? This is, oh gosh, it's so difficult. They leave. Now the producers comes, come on, David, would be so great. I mean, and then I started thinking about it. All the comics that I've seen, man, you know, strong brothers, why they putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. Guy comes back 10 minutes later, the whole new scene. Hot damn, how did you write the scene so fast? You know, it's like, so you gotta take a stand.
Dave is breaking down another piece of the puzzle. They wanted him to wear a dress for a Martin Lawrence movie. When he said no, they had a backup scene ready in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You know what that means? They were expecting resistance. They planned for every possibility. This dress thing isn't random. It's systematic. They need to break down masculine identity, get men comfortable with humiliation, make them dependent on approval instead of principle. Dave saw it coming and said no, but notice how they had that backup plan ready to go? Nothing in Hollywood happens by accident. The genius of using someone like Oprah is that she doesn't look like the enemy. She looks like your grandmother, sounds like your therapist, talks about spirituality and empowerment. But watch her actions, not her words. When someone like Dave tries to maintain their integrity, she becomes a weapon to discredit them. It's the perfect setup. Create massive trust through years of seeming to care about people's problems. Then use that trust to destroy anyone who threatens the system. And the beautiful part? The audience never sees it coming because they're so invested in believing she's on their side. But here's where Oprah's carefully crafted image starts to crack. When you look past the philanthropy and the inspirational quotes, you find a pattern of scandals that she somehow always manages to escape unscathed. Let's talk about her Leadership Academy in South Africa.
Back in 2007, Oprah Winfrey thought it would be a good idea to open up a boarding school in South Africa. She was inspired by Nelson Mandela and made a promise to him that she was going to create this school. The academy is called Leadership Academy for Girls. Actually, the government of South Africa was against Oprah opening this school because it's an extremely expensive place and the population there is extremely poor. But yet she opens this school and it's got salons in it, it's got gyms in it. I mean, some people think that this was a place for kids to be human trafficked because they would go and get them ready there for sale. And honestly, we don't need to talk about that conspiracy, but we need to talk about the scandals that have gone down at this school.
These are my girls. These are my girls. Look up, man.
So Oprah built this $40 million school in South Africa, and they had 152 students attend. Oprah actually handpicked the 152 students who attended her school, but it wasn't long until some of these students were being harmed by one of the employees of the school. Her name is Virginia, and she was 27 years old at the time, and she was charged with 13 counts of getting inappropriate with the kids. Virginia got physical with at least 6 students aged 13 to 15. So these students were handpicked by Oprah to go and live at this academy, and one of these employees who is managing the dorm is physically touching them and doing things to them and harming them. This was a bad look for South Africa because they have had a problem with children being harmed at school by these employees. But ultimately, Oprah put them in this situation to be harmed by this employee. That wasn't the only scandal that came out of Oprah's school, because ever since it's been open, there's been scandal after scandal. Less than 2 years later, there was another incident where some students were getting physical with each other, and there was a 15-year-old who urged to these victims to keep everything on the down low and not to tell their parents or investigators what happened. So 7 students were suspended from the school, and these girls were alleged to have been intimidating others into partaking in inappropriate behaviors. A letter sent to one of the suspended girls' parents reportedly read, "You have been found guilty of physical contact of an intimate nature with another person on campus, bullying of other girls on campus, and of being dishonest by not telling investigators the whole truth." So I don't understand why Oprah just went to this school like less than a year ago to fix things, yet this is still going on. I mean, how does this 15-year-old get away with preying on their schoolmates and coercing them into lying to officials about it?
So Oprah opens this school for girls in South Africa, right? $40 million of investment, supposed to be this beacon of hope and education. But what actually happened? Multiple SA scandals. First, a matron gets caught attacking students. Then, more incidents with students attacking each other. Then they find a dead newborn in a student's bag. Now here's the thing. Oprah claims she had no idea what was happening, but this is a woman who micromanages everything about her brand. You're telling me she didn't know what was going on at her own school? With all that money invested, all those security systems, all that oversight, the pattern is always the same. Oprah positions herself as the savior of vulnerable people, but somehow terrible things keep happening under her watch, and she always has an excuse ready. It's never her fault. She's always the victim too.
When some people think Oprah Winfrey, they think Harvey Weinstein because they have been linked together so often. First off, Oprah and Harvey have been friends for over 2 decades. A lot of people use the argument that she didn't know about what he was doing, but that's impossible because everyone's known about Harvey Weinstein's reputation ever since the 90s. If you guys don't know who Harvey Weinstein is, he is a major film producer who is pretty much the face of the Me Too movement because he was called out by a bunch of different actresses who he violated. When he was getting canceled and exposed for everything that he has done, Oprah allegedly called him and offered her support. Even though Oprah's team denies this, I believe it because Oprah has been close with Harvey and she has showed him some sympathy over time. Even though he is a disgusting man and he deserves to rot in jail. But I don't understand why Oprah wants to be best friends with someone like Harvey Weinstein. They had a very warm friendship, and the photos show. Some people actually believe that Oprah convinced some actresses to hook up with Harvey Weinstein. And actually, Rose McGowan tweeted out, "I'm glad more people are seeing the ugly truth of Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't."
Then there's her relationship with Harvey Weinstein, photos of them together, business dealings, public support even when the rumors were already swirling. But once he got exposed, suddenly Oprah acts like she had no idea who this man really was. Seal called her out perfectly, said she was part of the problem for decades. Because here's the truth. Everyone in Hollywood knew about Harvey. Everyone. But they stayed quiet because he had power. He made the money, and speaking out would hurt their careers.
I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
Jim Carrey weighing in on Will Smith's Oscar controversy during a new interview with Gayle King for CBS Mornings.
They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
Well, you don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh, I like it.
Meanwhile, Jim Carrey's getting tired of pretending everything's normal. He went from making jokes about the Illuminati to openly admitting he's exhausted by it all. That's not someone having a breakdown. That's someone who's seen too much and can't keep up the act anymore. When Carrey talks about Hollywood being spineless, he's talking about exactly this. People like Oprah who know what's really happening, but choose to protect the system instead of the victims. They build their careers on other people's pain, then act shocked when the truth comes out. The mask is slipping, and people like Katt Williams are refusing to let them put it back on. Now let's connect the dots to what's really happening behind closed doors. Remember, we're not talking about random parties or celebrity gossip. We're talking about a systematic operation that reaches into the highest levels of entertainment and media.
They were celebrity-driven parties. I happened to come in at a time where he was throwing his 50th birthday party, and they spent millions of dollars building this outside structure in his backyard in Los Angeles. I couldn't believe, like, wow, I'm a part of this now. Like, it was so, again, exquisite. It was just huge.
But the gloss quickly wore off as his tasks became more sinister. Phil was not only ordered to source a constant supply of drugs for Diddy, he was then forced to carry them around the country.
So we had a laundry list of items that needed to be with us at all times. You know, we'd have their marijuana joints on us. We would have the mushrooms on us. We had a kind of a Diddy pack is what they would call it. And we would keep a satchel on us, and that's what we would have in that satchel.
Always on call, Phil witnessed many things he now wishes he hadn't. He says he worked on the periphery of Diddy's now infamous parties known as freak-offs, although he knew them by another name.
They were referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest or guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil Astroglide, candles, incense, liquor, lights, tons of toiletries, drugs.
Phil wasn't in the room for the parties, but he didn't have to be. He knew exactly what went on behind closed doors because one of his jobs was deleting the very incriminating videos of the Wild King Nights from his boss's iPhones and iPads.
I thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and, you know, smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, like, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, you know, once every few weeks, it's every day, every hour.
Here's Diddy's former assistant breaking down exactly what his job was. And listen carefully to what he's describing. Prepping rooms for specific activities, managing schedules around these events, coordinating with high-profile participants. This isn't party planning, this is operational logistics for systematic exploitation. The assistant talks about preparing spaces every hour, managing multiple participants, and coordinating with other industry figures. Think about the level of organization required for this. Think about the guest lists, the security protocols, and the cleanup procedures. This is a business operation disguised as entertainment. Now here's where it gets interesting. Industry insiders have consistently mentioned Oprah's participation in these circles, not as a victim, but as someone who understood exactly what was happening and chose to participate anyway. Remember, this is the same woman who built her career on being America's moral authority, the person people trusted with their deepest secrets and traumas. But behind the scenes, she's allegedly participating in the same system that destroys the vulnerable people she claims to protect. The cognitive dissonance is staggering. During the day, she's on television talking about empowerment and healing. At night, she's allegedly at parties where that same empowerment gets systematically destroyed. It's the perfect cover. Who would ever suspect America's therapist of being part of the problem? This is why people like Katt Williams and Jim Carrey are so dangerous to the system. They're not just exposing individual bad actors, they're exposing the entire infrastructure that allows these operations to continue while maintaining public trust. When Williams talks about knowing all her secrets, he's not talking about gossip or rumors. He's talking about operational knowledge of systematic disguised as philanthropy, networking disguised as exploitation, and healing disguised as harm.
John of God was once hyped by Oprah. Now he's accused of abusing hundreds of women. So Hayes broke this story. There he is there. This is very tiny text. Maybe BuzzFeed is one of those ones. John of God, he's a Brazilian medium healer, subject of a profile by Oprah. As of earlier this week, accused of abusing hundreds of women. Listen to this. Faria became famous for his intense methods of healing. Though he doesn't have a medical license, he performs both spiritual healing, praying intensely for believers and placing hands on them to cure their afflictions, and what appear to be actual surgical procedures without anesthesia. This was crazy. He has been written about for years since his practice started in 1978, but an episode of Oprah in 2012 devoted to him raised his profile exponentially.
The scariest part, this system works because people want to believe in heroes. They need to believe that someone like Oprah is genuinely good, so they ignore the evidence that suggests otherwise. And that willful blindness is what allows the whole operation to continue in plain sight. So here we are. The evidence is laid out, the patterns are clear, and the testimonies keep stacking up. The woman America trusted with their deepest pain built her empire by monetizing that exact suffering. The philanthropist who claimed to protect vulnerable children presided over multiple scandals. The moral authority who presented herself as Hollywood's conscience was allegedly participating in the very system she publicly condemned. Oprah's terror isn't about individual allegations. It's about the complete destruction of the carefully constructed image that allowed her to operate as a systematic exploiter while being celebrated as America's therapist. When multiple credible witnesses independently expose identical control mechanisms, the house of cards starts falling. The silence is breaking, the contracts are being violated, and America's most trusted figure faces her worst nightmare. People finally asking the right questions instead of believing the perfect image. If the entertainment industry's most trusted philanthropist is actually part of the system that destroys the people she claims to help, who can we really trust anymore? And when will we finally admit that the heroes we desperately want to believe in might be the very villains we need protection from? If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.